All right. Well, welcome to another one of our awesome 1 o'clock demos here with Arizona Science Center. My name is Maverick, and today the demos I'm going to be taking you through are our chemistry in a bag demos. Now, this is going to be a few different demos. I've got 4 of them kind of lined up for you that are going to be some fun little at-home chemistry experiments that you get to do and make all kinds of cool looking stuff. So the first one I really want to get into is one of my personal favorites. I think it looks really, really cool. This is our cloud in a bag. Now I'm going to do it in a cup right now just because I think it looks better on camera, but you can do this in a cup or a bag or whatever you want to at home. But it's a super simple little experiment that shows you basically how to make rain, right? How rain is actually formulated and how clouds are formulated. So what you need is like this little cup here, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it with some water up to right about here. We're going to fill it up maybe like a quarter of the way. Turn that water off. And then you need some shaving cream. Now these are gonna act as our clouds, right? You're gonna take this shaving cream and you're just gonna fill the rest of it to make these clouds, right? Now, what you need to do, and I've already kind of done this ahead of time, but you're gonna get some water, you're gonna put it in a little container, right? And you're gonna add some food coloring. And you want a few different colors. You can actually, you can do it with one color, but I like to have a few different colors because it looks like a rainbow. So I've got blue, I've got red, and I've got green here. Now, what you want to do is you're going to want to take your different colors, and you can just a little bit of it. You can use a pipette, but I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little bit of it in here. And you just want to pour some of it into your clouds. Now, you're going to notice that a lot of it gets soaked up into the clouds, but some of it will actually start going through. So I'm going to add some different colors here. Add a little bit of our green. And we're going to add a little bit of our red. Now, what's happening is most of that is getting soaked up in our clouds, but you'll notice that a little bit is starting to kind of come through the bottom there. Now, if I add more, more is going to happen. Now, basically the way that works is in our clouds, right? The reason we get rain is because that moisture starts filling those clouds and it absorbs a bunch of it, kind of like a sponge, but eventually it gets to the point where it's saturated, meaning that it can't hold any more of that moisture, and it releases that moisture. And that's where we get our rain. So if I add more and saturate our shaving cream here, our clouds, eventually it starts pouring through a lot more, and you start getting the rain coming down. So think of this like monsoon season out here in Arizona when all that rain starts pouring out, and you can add all kinds of different colors here. You can add some food coloring to make it even more colorful, but you can try this at home and you can try it with different things, right? You can try it with shaving cream. Maybe you can try it with whipped cream or different things like that and experiment a little bit and see how you can make rain and see if you can make your very own rain. But that's a nice little simple cloud experiment. Now, the next one I want to do also involves food coloring, but it's slightly different. Now, this container that I have has milk in it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some food coloring and we're gonna drop it in a few different spots in our milk. So I'm gonna put some green food coloring on the top end. I'm gonna put some red food coloring, and I'll give you a better angle in a second. Boom, put some red food coloring on the bottom, and the blue over here. Now, it doesn't mix super well right off the bat, but if you take a little bit of dish soap and put it on a little cotton swab and you start swirling it, what you're gonna find is the colors just start mixing, and you can make all kinds of different colors in your milk here. So rather than them all being separate, the second that dish soap enters this milk, all of the colors start spreading in and they start mixing together. Now, the reason that happens is because milk has fat in it. And when you put that food coloring in, originally with that fat, it's got a lot of those really tight bonds that the food coloring can't actually break through. When you add the dish soap, it actually breaks all of those bonds and allows the food coloring to mix in. So you can experiment with this with different colors. So if you mix, blue and green, what color do you get at home? Or if you mix blue and red, or whatever food colorings you have, you can start making your very own milk art at home. I bet you never thought you'd make art with milk. Now, let's see. What's the next one I want to do? This one always is really, really cool. So I'm gonna take this glass right here. You can honestly do this in just about anything. A lot of people do these in really big bottles. And I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, but you'll get a hint once I start doing this. Now, I'm gonna do it in this glass because you can see it really, really well here on video. You could do it in a bag, you could do it in a bottle, whatever you want. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some more water. So I'm gonna get some more water here. And we're gonna go, that's about good. So we'll fill the water up maybe about 1/4 of the way. Then what you're gonna add is vegetable oil. Now, when you add this vegetable oil, you're gonna notice something. They separate. So the water and the vegetable oil, they separate out. Now, a lot of you might have seen this at home before, that water and oil have different densities, which means that they don't really mix together very well. So you've got that very unique separation of the oil on the top and the water underneath it. And then, using food coloring again, who would have thought, right? All these food coloring demos. I'm gonna just put some green in here, and we're gonna put maybe like 6 drops. See what happens. 8 drops. And spread those around a little bit. And you'll notice that the food coloring, when I put it in there, now I'm gonna try to be careful, it's just sitting in the oil. It's not really, didn't go into the water, it didn't really mix, it's just kind of sitting in that oil. But when I take these antacid tablets, which I've got little Alka-Seltzer tablets here, and you take these and you put them in, nice and gentle, and just drop it in, what you're gonna see is something start to happen. So I'll slide this further up so you can see it nice up and close. And you see that it starts kind of creating this tornado and going up, and the water starts turning green, right? It starts absorbing that food color. Now, what's happening in this demonstration here is basically when we added that Alka-Seltzer tablet, it started creating carbon dioxide bubbles. Now bubbles, those carbon dioxide bubbles are a gas, right? They're trying to escape. And when they start bubbling up through the oil, and some of it starts catching the little green food coloring. And as it catches it, you see these green bubbles start coming up and going down. And when they go back down, they end up in the water. It spreads them out into that water, kind of transported them completely through our oil and created this awesome lava lamp. So this is a really cool way to make a at-home lava lamp. If you have something like a big 2-liter bottle or something like that, you can take the water, you can put the oil in there and put a whole bunch of it in there, and then take your food coloring, drop it in, and drop your antacids in and see what happens. You can have all kinds of different colors. You can do rainbow lava lamps. So this one is just green, but you can have all kinds of different colors there. Now this last one, I'm gonna take you on a journey once I get this started, and we're gonna head over to the sink, because I call this one the exploding bag trick. And this one uses a chemical reaction and carbon dioxide, again, creating carbon dioxide gas to create a chemical reaction. Wow, words are hard, don't mind me. And basically we're gonna make this bag explode, hopefully, if it works the way we want it to. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is, like we did before, you're gonna take some water. I'm gonna turn around, put a little bit of water in here. Typically you want maybe like 1/4 of a cup. It depends on the size of the bag. So, got about this much water in my bag. Then, you can experiment out a little bit with it depending on the size of your bag, depending on where you are. You can make bigger ones, smaller ones. And I've got this vinegar here. So you're gonna want, if you have a quarter cup of water, you're probably gonna want about 1/2 cup of vinegar. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my measuring cup here to get about 1/2 cup. There we go. And as carefully as possible, I should be doing it over the sink, but you know, science. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in there. Now this next part is tricky, and this is where the fun science kind of comes into play, and this is when I'll take you on a fun little journey here. So the next thing you'll need is a paper towel, and I don't need this whole thing. I'm gonna rip it in half. Well, that was not a graceful rip. And then you're gonna need baking soda. And what you wanna do is you wanna kind of make a little cup with your paper towel, and you're gonna pour some of the baking soda in there, probably about like 2 to 3 teaspoons. There we go. And what you want to do is you want to wrap it up into a nice little ball of baking soda, basically. And it's going to hold that ball of baking soda right in here. Now, this is where you got to be extra careful. What you want to do is you want to take it. You don't want to put it in the liquid just yet. What you want to do is you want to try to take it and you kind of hold it on the side, inside, so it's underneath the Ziploc. And then you want to start sealing the bag. You want to make sure that, one, your paper towel isn't hitting the liquid. So you want to try to keep it held up top there. And then you also want to make sure that your bag is fully airtight sealed. So if you have like one of the Ziploc bags that has a little zipper on it, that's a really quick, easy way to do it. But with these, you just want to make sure that it is a full seal. So when you squeeze it right there, you'll notice that no air gets out. That means that it's pretty sealed up. You just want to run through again, make sure that it's good. And then this is the part that I'm going to take you with me over to the sink. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to flip this camera around so you can see. Now, what we're going to do now is when I put this in here, I'm going to let this the paper towel go. And the reason we wrap it in the paper towel is because it's going to give us a little bit of time before the baking soda sets in there. And we're going to see a cool reaction. And hopefully, we'll get an exploding bag. So I'll let it go in there. I'm going to shake it up a little bit. Now, it's also important to use warm water with this. And you're going to see the bag starts inflating a little bit. And hopefully, eventually, possibly, maybe, you'll see a little bit on the side is starting to come out. It's like squirting out a little bit. So this is something that could happen. You can see that it's inflating, but there's a little bit of a hole in the side of the bag, which is preventing it from fully exploding right now. But you see this chemical reaction that's happening. There we go. There's our exploding bag. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So what happened right there is as that chemical reaction happened, it started creating more carbon dioxide gas. And gas needs to go somewhere, right? Gas fills up every space that it's in. And when we seal that bag, the gas is filling the bag. And eventually the pressure is building up inside that bag until the bag can't contain it anymore. And boom, exploding bag. So that was just a few of our awesome chemistry in a bag experiments that you could do at home. We've got all kinds of awesome stuff here at the Arizona Science Center that we offer for you to do at home. So go ahead and check us out at azscience.org for all of that. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook for all of our demos every day. And thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome rest of your day, guys.